Hi, Rodney Cope here, founder of the New Flat Rate. In yesterday's video, I talked about struggles that you and me and other contractors have had. But you've hung in this long with contracting because deep in your heart, you know there's solutions. Today, I'm going to show you some of them. Liz is a plumbing contractor in Maryland who has been using the New Flat Rate in her plumbing company since it was just a beta version. She's very excited. I think you will be too.
So our company, Day or Night Plumbing, started, we've been doing flat rate for about 15 years, and we met you guys at the SPM Summit in Arizona and started with the new flat rate mid-March, and it's been going extremely well. Before that new flat rate, we felt it was very hard to raise prices with the previous flat rate. In this economy, we were getting a lot of trip fees, rejections, angry customers, we paid this much for this part, that type of thing. So we knew there was a change needed, but we didn't know what to turn to until we found you guys. And then as soon as we saw your presentation on the new flat rate, we knew that we were on to something really great. So with the previous flat rate book we had, our average ticket was about $363, and that was calculated over a period of a couple years. The best our technician ever had, one particular sales cycle, which is 2 weeks for us, was $451. And on the new flat rate, our average ticket over the last month was $672, and over the last 2 weeks it has climbed to $772 over the last pay period. Now mind you, we don't do HVAC at all. This is strictly plumbing, so those are pretty significant numbers that we're pretty pleased about. The technicians love the system. They had a learning curve at first. I had one technician who didn't really seem like he embraced it at all. And we had our video conference with you guys, and he took the book out. His very first sale was a platinum for about $1,300 for drain line cleaning, and at that point on, he was sold, and he's doing extremely well on it, and they love it. So the new flat rate has been so convincing to us. Everything you guys have said about it has come to be true. And like I said, we've been doing flat rate for 20 years now, the old flat rate. So we are so pleased with this, because I knew we had to do something, but I didn't know what, you know what I mean? Because we've had so many issues with the old flat rate system, and you know, I certainly want you guys to do well with it. I hope our competitors don't get it, though. Hopefully you don't have anyone else in Maryland who's going to use this, because it really does set us apart, you know?
Also today, I want to show you how this system would work. So I've asked Matt and Danielle to give their input. I think you're going to like it. This is really exciting.
Hello, I'm Matt, the senior trainer here at the New Flat Rate. For years I've been in the service industry, right now for about 12 years now. And what I've found is from the start of original flat rate, where we've had to actually pair things up and force the customer to buy things in order to make a living. Typically we would use something like this, which is just a big bulky flat rate book. And what we found is it's very difficult to close. I've been to all kinds of sales schools and found that it doesn't really matter where you go, you're going to have a whole lot of objections when you're trying to force this type of program onto a customer. And so for me, when we went to the new flat rate automatic add-on selling system, it made a huge difference. Because now, instead of going in and having to bundle up a bunch of tasks and tell the customer, this is what you need, you have to buy this, this is going to be $10,000 for me to renovate all this stuff. Now all we got to do is we go in, we open up the book, we show the customer the different options, and we let them decide. Okay, let's give the customer some choices. The thought behind this is, when you go into Home Depot, do the assistants there take all of the drills off of the shelf and just put the cheapest one up there so you can take it or leave it? No. They give you a wide selection so you can choose exactly what you want. You may not need the most expensive one on the shelf. You may not need the cheapest one. But typically when you make those decisions, it's not really about all you need. It's about getting what you want, because, let's face it, this is America. Americans buy the most that they can afford. They want to make sure that they get the most value out of the money that they spend today. Today we're going to talk about a little bit about the Plumber's edition of the automatic add-on selling system and how it works and how you can implement it into your company. Hello, I'm Matt with Best Plumbing. What brings us out here today?
Hello, thanks so much for coming out. Well, my water heater is not heating, so it's kind of a problem.
Okay, well I can definitely take a look at that for you. Tell you what, did our office tell you about our service and diagnostic charge for coming out?
They did.
Okay, great. Well, I tell you what, I'll go ahead and check out your water heater, find out what's going on, and then I should be able to give you several different options on what it'll take to get it up and going today.
Okay.
And if you choose an option today, then I'll go ahead and waive that service charge for you as well.
Great, I appreciate it.
All right, we'll check it out. Okay, I took a look at a water heater, and I found that it looks like some elements are out, and you know, it could use some attention on some of the wiring, but for the most part, it's a pretty cut and dry repair. So I'm going to go ahead and open up to the water heater section in my automatic add-on selling system, and I'm going to go show it to the customer. Danielle, do you have a minute?
I sure do.
Okay, well hey, I just want to let you know that I checked out your water heater, and I found an electrical fault in the heating control system.
Okay.
But don't worry, I got several different options for you.
All right.
Okay. Now the top option, it's the most premium. For that, I'm going to go in and we're going to pretty much completely renovate the electronic system. So it's going to let me go in and rebuild the controls, the temperature control system, as well as the hot water heating system. And when we're done, everything's going to be just like new. Now with that, we're also going to go in, check out the electronic terminals and the wires and everything, make sure that they're not going to give you any trouble in the future. And then with the top option, we're going to go ahead and add a 1-year checkup. So next year we're going to come back, check everything that we did today, just to make sure that you don't have any problems in the future. Okay? Now with that top option, I'm also going to add a 1-year checkup. That just means next year we're going to come back and check everything that we did today to make sure that it's all holding strong and you're not going to have any other issues. Now, because we're coming back next year, Danielle, I'm going to go ahead and add a 2-year warranty to that. How does that sound?
Oh, that would be great.
Okay. Now that's the most premium option, but if we did all that for you today, it's $871.
Okay.
But we have these other options here. Take a look.
All right.
What should we do?
Well, I like the sounds of that premium platinum option.
What do you like about it?
Well, I like that I'm not going to have to worry about it. I can't stand getting something fixed and then having to call you back out to do it again.
I understand. So what should we do?
Let's go ahead and do that platinum.
Are you sure? Now we have the cheaper options down at the bottom.
Yeah, I don't want a quick fix.
So what should we do?
Let's do the platinum.
Okay. Would it be alright if we took care of the paperwork right now?
It sure would.
Alright, let's do it.
Great, thanks.
Okay, great. So she chose the platinum option. Now, that's not something that happens every day, but for the most part, a lot of people are going to do that. Reason being is because once we explain that top option to them, all of the value that's in it makes the other options look undesirable, as well as much more affordable. So, when she chooses the top option, what is she going to get? Well, that's just going to allow me to really take my time. I'm going to go in, pull up a stool, I'm going to rebuild that water heater. I'm going to put in new elements, I'm going to put in new thermostats, as well as if I need to replace some wires and things, hey, I can, because she paid for my day. Anyway, since she chose that option, we'll go ahead and take care of it. Now what would happen if she chose one of the other options? Because that happens, right? Well, sometimes when customers see the page, they want that top option. If you do a good job explaining what you're going to do and the values that they're going to get, that's the option that they're going to want. But that doesn't mean that they can afford it. So as what they do is when we show them the page, they look at the numbers. Their eyes immediately go to these numbers, and they look and they select a number that they can afford. It might be the top one, it might be the bottom one, but typically it's going to be somewhere in the middle. And so once they select that option, we just want to reassure them that, hey, that's a good option. Because when they say, tell me about that option, that's what they're doing. They're saying, I really can't afford the best one, but you're the expert, can I get by with this for a little while? And let's face it, if they take a middle option, that's a lot more than they would have got anywhere else. Now, have you ever been to a sales training program when you get to the end of it and they tell you, now before you leave, go ahead and ask the customer for 3 referrals? Well, I have too. And nice thing about the automatic add-on selling system is when customers choose the options that they want, which are typically way more than we would have sold them anyway, they're happier. And the reason they're happier is they got exactly what they want, they're confident that they're not going to have any problems for a long, long time. And so now when it comes to asking for referrals, you can do that. But typically we find that you don't need to. When a customer's happier than they've ever been, you'll get more referrals than you ever have before. And the nice part about that also is it takes all the pressure off of this service technician. So now they don't have to worry about asking for referrals, as well as they don't have to worry about being this superstar salesperson. All they have to do is show the customer the options and stand back and let them choose, and it takes off all the pressure. Okay, so we showed you a little bit about how the system works. And yes, it'll probably double the sales of your service department, as well as make your customers a lot happier. But the question is, can you live with it? Well, on the next video coming up, we'll let you know exactly what you need to do to get started and how we can get it up and running right away.